Today I'm going to show you some of my best tips and strategies at getting the Apocalypse Bronze Trophy, which of course is the first one in the series of trophies. Now you can get all three at once by doing the Gold Trophy Challenge, but if you want to go in order, I'm going to share some of my best tips. Now to do the Apocalypse Bronze Challenge, you at least have to be level 40 to unlock Insanity, but I'm going to recommend you at least be level 50 to get that custom difficulty unlocked. Now, it's not impossible if you do Insanity and use that to get the Apocalypse Bronze Trophy, but there are some settings that I think can be adjusted to make it a little bit easier for you, which is why I recommend the 50. But what I absolutely want you to stay away from is clicking the preset and hitting the Apocalypse 1 settings. Do not do that. It makes this challenge needlessly difficult. There's way easier settings that can give you normal player speed, sprint, all that stuff that's like, why did they make this harder? Like, get you normal speed, get you sprint. It's way easier that way. I'm gonna go over my settings. I had a couple different ones. I've kind of changed a bit with these, so I'm gonna go over two of my favorite options and let you know from there. So this was the first one that I originally came up with, and these are still good, and I'm gonna go over some of the main points. Now, player, you're really not gonna mess with this for either of the settings. Basically, it's like default nightmare settings, default insanity settings, other than starting sanity is 100. You don't need to lower it for anything. You can be fine. Sanity pill restoration is at 20. If you feel comfortable lowering that because you want to change a different setting, by all means. And feel free to adjust these settings to whatever fits for you. All you need is that 6 times multiplier. That's it. However you get to that multiplier is all that matters. As long as you're at least 6 times, you're going to be good. But player speed 100, sprinting on, flashlights on. Good stuff there. Ghost is where things can kind of vary for you. So Ghost and Contract both really. Now Ghost speed 100, roaming frequency I just have set to high. Change favorite room I've set to medium. So that'd be kind of annoying to deal with, and you can lower that there at medium and be fine. Goryo, you can actually like kind of tell for this based on the evidence you get, because you can actually see the dots if that's the one evidence for the Goryo. Activity and event frequency I have set to low. I'll go over a change in the event frequency here in a second for my second settings. Grace period 2, friendly ghost obviously off. Hunt duration, I highly recommend you set it to medium. 50-second hunts are much nicer than dealing with 60-second hunts, even in this. Evidence given, unless you really mess with these settings, you're going to have to go with just one evidence. If you want 2 evidence, you're going to have to like lower your starting sanity, lower your player speed, lower your sprinting. Like, I think just going with 1, you should have enough of an understanding of the ghost traits to eliminate ghosts, so I'm going to recommend you just stick with 1 there. Contract setup time 0. I'm going to go with Heavy Rain. That gives you the highest multiplier. It's not the worst either. Save your settings for elsewhere. Door starting open high. Biggest thing people might say is number of hiding places is none. There's a lot of makeshift hiding spots that you can do in Sunny Meadows, or just stay far enough back that I don't feel like it's really worth the hit to the multiplier to play with hiding spots on, because you may not get a hiding spot you want anyways. The first thing you got to do is find that ghost room and then find a place to hide after that. There's a lot of good makeshift places, or just staying far enough back that's going to keep you safe. I'll go through that in the actual game though, but I highly recommend just leave hiding spots to none. It boosts your multiplier up by a lot and allows you to change these other settings. Sanity Monitor and Activity Monitor I have on for this, as well as Fusebox at the start of Contract on, and Fusebox visible on map. This gets you to a 6.07 times multiplier, 1 evidence, normal speed, normal sprint, normal speed ghost. Grace period, you're going to be pretty set with this one. The hardest thing though is obviously going to be with the ghost photo. So the way that I also adjusted these settings for that is, for the ghost, I would have events set to high. So that way there's a higher likelihood of it doing an event that you can grab the photo to. And then I would recommend turning the activity monitor off, because you won't have, there's a less likelihood of seeing EMF 5 on there anyways, or seeing the Pulte ability. So really just kind of what you're using it for. And then fuse box on at the start, just turn that off, but still keep it visible. And you can then go in like right away and look for the ghost, or for the fuse box, and go ahead and turn it on if that's what you want to do. Just changing those will allow you to get events set to high. And that can at least make it slightly easier to get that ghost photo, which, to get the Apocalypse Bronze Trophy anyways, you do need to, again, do Sunny Meadows solo, get all the objectives, and get the ghost photo. It can be any star, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, just has to say ghost on there. Then you of course have to survive and get the ghost right. So the objectives is what we're going to go through next. It's kind of go along with my same recommendations for the Apocalypse Gold Trophy. That is, if you get the event objective or the crucifix objective, I recommend just resetting. Those two, and I use this example because I think it's the best example for it. Let's say you get a DO on your run. Do you want to waste time trying to get a ghost event or trying to get a crucifix burn if you're going to have trouble finding the ghost room anyways? With Apocalypse Bronze, it's not as bad because you should be able to find the ghost room and get that piece of evidence before it starts hunting anyway. So it's more of a likelihood to get it. So it's not as big of a deal. But let's say you know early, like it's a phantom or a banshee or a wraith roaming to you or teleporting to you at the start. You want to take the time to find the ghost room when it's constantly like a banshee constantly roaming. It's going to be really hard to find that ghost room. Do you want to have to deal with it? That one is a little bit easier though, because you could get the cruci burn and stuff with it roaming to you. But it's just a preference thing. Me, I'm going to tell you to reset those two objectives. The one that comes into play here that won't for the other APOC is sanity less than 25%. Really shouldn't have an issue getting to that if you do have everything and that's your last objective. Just go far enough away from the ghost room. The ghost will never roam there or hunt there as long as you're not dealing with a phantom, banshee, or a wraith. And if you're dealing with a banshee, just go to a different floor. But that's like going to be kind of the best recommendation there for objectives itself. Now, obviously, I said you should at least be level 50 to adjust the settings, but I actually recommend you're at least level 72 for the tier 3 paramike. It's going to make your life so much easier. But at least being level 50 will allow you to have access to all the tier 2 items. And here in a little bit, I'm going to go over some games using only tier 2 items and show you how to get the bronze trophy. So I'll show you how to do it. But I highly recommend that tier 3 paramike. It's probably the best item in the game, honestly. Like, it is fantastic. As far as full-on strategies, again, I'll show you my games to fully do it, but some of the quick-hitting things, I like to start with the fuse box on, or at least I'm going to turn it on right away if I'm using my other settings. So at that point, I'm going to start bringing my items into the front, while also keeping in mind we're going to be checking for Wraith, Phantom, or possibly a Banshee, or to find out if the ghost room is at the front. So if you get an EMF reading in there, or a ghost blows out with a firelight, if you're playing with tier 3 firelights, otherwise I'm not going to turn on tier 2 because it might mess with it. Since it's time-based, you should at least know what you're looking for there, and it gives you an advantage that way. Once you get the items in there, which is also going to allow time for the ghost room to cool down, so you should see your breath in the room when you find it, I'm going to recommend starting with a paramike, a thermo, an EMF reader, and then your headset to be used as your flashlight. Those are great things there that with those 3 and those 4, whatever, that's going to be great at finding the ghost room. You should easily be able to find it from there. So obviously, finding the ghost room is the hardest part. Here's some things to keep in mind with the paramike. If you're using tier 2, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But while you're walking, closed doors that are open, this allows you to, if you have to make another sweep of it, you'll know that the ghost room or ghost door has been messed with and look around that area. While you're looking, if you see like a fully open door, that is very suspicious. Doors usually do not start fully open, so look around that area for a possibility of the ghost room. If you get a whisper, you'll know you're in the right area, and you can confirm with your breath where the ghost room is. And if you hear an interaction, you have your EMF reader to look for that. I like to pick a side, start from that. Typically, I'm going left side first, on downstairs, checking downstairs left side, cutting across to the other side, back upstairs, and then search the center if I have to. That's kind of my routine for it. You can do your own thing. If you want to search the center first, then pick a side, like it really doesn't matter. Just come up with a routine that's good for you to find the ghost room. Once you find the ghost room, check your sanity. Both of these settings have sanity board on if you didn't turn it off yourself for your own settings. Keep your sanity high until you find that piece of evidence. So if you find the ghost room, go back, check your sanity, and even if you're at like 90%, just take a pill. You're probably not going to need a lot of the pills because by the time you get that piece of evidence, you're going to want to start to get hunted to try to figure out the ghost that way. Biggest thing, though, that I can say, don't over-focus on evidence, okay? This is one of the biggest reasons why I personally dislike one evidence mode, because I think people tunnel vision so hard into that one piece of evidence, they completely ignore other like one evidence or no evidence tests. So if you find the ghost room, you don't see orbs or anything right away, well, still check for a wraith, right? Like, don't sit there and be like, oh, maybe it's dots, maybe it's freezing, I'm not going to do anything. Treat it as though it's no evidence at that point. Okay, I found the ghost room. I don't see any orbs. All right, I'm gonna start. You can set up your evidence items like your book, your dots, thermo is in there. Have your EMF UV ready, but then set salt down for a wraith test. Go ahead and get crucifixes in there, get your firelights in there, test for an onryo, put motion sensors up, test for a shade as well while you're testing for an onryo to see will it blow out the candle in the same room as you. You can hold a paramic while you're looking for evidence as well to see, do you get a paramic scream or anything there? You can set up a pole to see if it wants to explode it early. Do other things while you're also trying to gather or wait for evidence. It's going to allow you to save your sanity more. So again, knowing ghost abilities and traits is really the biggest key to this. There are cheat sheet, the unofficial, I guess, Phasmophobia cheat sheet, fantastic resource. It's linked in the description. Use that to, listen for footstep speed, learn stuff about the ghosts. It's fantastic that way. No, obviously one of the hardest parts about the Apocalypse Challenge is getting that ghost photo. So if you're playing with high ghost events, that's going to be at least a little bit easier for you to get that photo. If you're playing low ghost events, it can still ghost event. You can still wait for it, get that photo. You may need to take it during the hunt, but also since you are playing with evidence, if you have dots, take a picture of the dots. It counts as the ghost photo. It'll count for the Apocalypse Challenge.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Now, my biggest, most underrated tip, really in general in Phasmo, time your hunts, please. I'm going to go over some great examples of timing hunts that has allowed me to not only get like the bronze trophy, win those games, but also the gold trophy. Timing hunts to take the ghost photo or to test for an ability is amazing, especially when you may not have an optimal hiding spot. Medium hunt duration, hunts last 50 seconds. If you need that ghost photo, my recommended setup, of course, is going to be smudge, photo, smudge. So in your inventory, which I wouldn't recommend, I use a controller, so I use buttons to switch. I wouldn't recommend the mouse wheel. Use like Q and stuff to scroll through your buttons or whatever you have it set as, because it's going to let you be more precise. When it's about 30, 35 seconds, try to activate your radio, get the ghost's attention to come to you. And then when it does, you can smudge it, take a couple photos, smudge it again, take a couple more, and the hunt should be over. That's going to allow you to try to get as many pictures as possible and still be safe if you do need to get it during the hunt. But it's also going to allow you to check for like a yokai ability, a Jinn ability for this, because the breaker is going to be on, so you can test for a Jinn for this. Just things in general, escaping the ghost during the hunt, because if you try to escape early on in the hunt, the ghost may stay in that area and then find where you're hiding. So wait to do that at the end if at all possible. Vital to do that. It's really the most underrated tip that I can give you, and it's going to make life so much easier at getting the ghost correct and surviving. Oh, shit. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, a perfect example. Why you call it towards the end of the hunt, you smudge, you take the pictures, you smudge it again, you're safe. Now I'm going to go in and show you some Apocalypse 1 games that we did. Showed you how we found the ghost room, how we found the ghost type, and how we did everything. Alright, so I'm going to show you my bronze trophy attempt, though using the settings that I did, and I'm going to use all tier 2 items. I've been in the process of just putting some things into there. We should be just about ready to go in, so a few things to keep in mind. One, again, I opened up the door, and I turned on the light just to kind of know, hey, did the ghost turn off the breaker or not? But again, I want to bring my stuff into the doorway because I want to give time for the ghost room to cool down. So again, with us playing with the breaker on, it's going to give time for the ghost room to cool down, and we should be seeing our breath where the ghost room is, unless, of course, it does turn off the breaker. We might have some more issues with that. But either way, while we're also grabbing items, we can also be looking, again, at the activity chart. Do we see anything with the EMF spike? So far, no. It's something to keep in mind. Again, I play with this stuff on and like the fuse box on because the settings that I use, if you turn those off, like, you're just making the game harder. There's not a lot of settings you can really kind of adjust. Again, play around with things to find your settings. But when it was like a 6.3 multiplier, if I turned the stuff off, and we were still above a 6 if I turned it on, I was just kind of like, you know, I'll take that. I'll take that. So we should have about everything. And I'm going to use all tier 2 because I recommend that you do this at level 50. So we'll see from there. We'll see from there. So let's see. We got this. Let's try to find the ghost room. I'm going to do paramic, EMF, or thermo, and video cam just to look for the dots right away. So I prefer tier 3 for this. Obviously, tier 3 paramic is amazing, but, you know, sometimes it is what it is. I do need to turn on my light. So again, my strategy with this is just pick a side. We don't have a cursed object. You could turn on a cursed object if you wanted to try to find the ghost room fast. Completely viable option. You're going to have to adjust some of the settings to still get you to that 6 times multiplier, though. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. But what I think I'm going to do is just close these doors as I get to them, just in case we do not hear anything. We will know if a door was touched when we come back. So that is my thought with that. That one, the door is taken out, so we won't know. That's the door that leads to the basement. So yeah, my strategy is just pick a side. You could have picked like a middle and go around that, but I hope it's not going to be one of the middle parts. Some of those rooms are really frustrating. So yeah, if you didn't want to start with the video cam because you don't want to look for the orbs right away, you could also do like an EMF reading to see, like, do you hear something? Where is it? What is it? Like, perfect, viable option. Nothing wrong with that. It's all just a preference thing, and I'm just showing you my preference to it. So technically, I did not actually get the bronze trophy first. I just went for gold and got all 3 at once, which, you know, is an option. But if you do want to progress up, and I think a lot of people do, a lot of people get to the point, they're like, okay, let me try this one, and let me try that one. Like, that's probably the more fun way to do it instead of just go for it all at once. But I was like, nah, we're just gonna YOLO it. So I'm just checking to see if that door was open or closed and go from there. We're not really hearing anything. Now, we do have, like, interactions and stuff on low to increase the multiplier. So let's see. Not hearing anything. Again, we could check for breath in each room, but that's just time consuming. I think just closing these doors. Like, I mean, if you see one open, you can obviously go in and say, oh, okay, did it mess with anything? Which it doesn't look like anything's messed with in there, so look to see if you see your breath, because we should be able to see our breath now, I would think. You could also go room to room and check with the thermo, but again, fairly time consuming. And typically, you're going to hear something first. At least in my experience. We found a bone. You don't need to get a perfect game, by the way, so don't bother with all that. In fact, save your pictures for ghost photos, and, like, that's it. But I guess, you know, if you find the bone, you found the bone. Double check to see. Of course, everything, you know, strewn about already doesn't really help. And sometimes you might get lucky and see your breath in the hallway to let you know. Now, the ghost room cannot be in the hallway. Why did I go in here? The ghost room cannot be in the hallway, but it can roam out there, or you can see your breath there. So that is a possibility. That is a possibility. We're not hearing anything. It makes me think that maybe it's in the... Are you kidding me? What? Well, this one is going to be rather fun, isn't it? That's really weird. I didn't feel like it was. So it must be upstairs. Must be one of the rooms. That was the Banshee scream. So we do know exactly what we're dealing with here. So now all we got to do is just grab that. I don't know what our piece of evidence is, but let's set up everything here. So now, if you have a roamer, like combining a roaming and stalking ghost here, if you do have a roamer or a stalker, like this Banshee, it could be a mimic. So that is one thing to kind of keep in mind. But you're here, aren't you? Yeah, it just turned on a light. I'm gonna grab my camera because just in case it does do a ghost event, which I should probably like put it in the middle. So, if you don't know about banshees, which you should if you're doing this, they will roam to you from anywhere on the same floor as you. So we would not get any roams downstairs. Which light did you turn on, by the way? In here? Oh, right there. Alright. So it is here. What were our objectives? I forgot to look at the objectives. Cleanse the area near the ghost. Okay, well. That's an easy objective, honestly. Because all we got to do is just wait for it to come back. And then we can cleanse it. So all we need now is just the ghost photo. So if we did that, we did cleanse it. Hopefully that'll increase the likelihood of doing an event on us. So we can. I don't know if I wonder what our one evidence is. Banshees have orbs, UV, and dots. We can actually, if it's dots, we might take a picture of the dots. Please be dots. That would be insane. I think did I use all my? No, I did not. Okay. Because you can see. I'm gonna keep on taking pictures. Okay, so we did get the 3-star ghost photo. Okay. So I'm like, I don't want it to count as the other thing. Alright, cool. Now, I am not going to select Banshee in the journal because I'm still in the middle of doing my gold APOC 3 run 50 successful games to get my Sunny Meadows badge. So I'm not going to select Banshee, but we do know it's a Banshee. We have the ghost photo. We have the 3 objectives. You see it says Banshee. You won't see where it says we get the trophy, but we got our weekly in one go with the motion sensor. That's funny. Because it kept setting it off. All right, so yeah, we did know that it was a Banshee. You might be saying, well, how did you know it wasn't a mimic mimicking a Banshee? Well, the fact it kept roaming to us again and again and again and again and again and again, yeah, the chance of a mimic doing that would be kind of crazy. So that one was easy. One here, I kind of switched my settings some to close out the activity board, but to also turn the breaker off at the start, but put ghost events to high, so there's a higher likelihood of the ghost eventing, so you can get an easier photo that you don't have to get during the hunt. Now, on the flip side, if the ghost is doing a lot of events, it may drain your sanity more, but we still have our sanity monitor on here. So I'm going to try that for this game as well, just to kind of show different things. Again, it's going to go by what do you prioritize more. If you want the activity board and the breaker on and you're going into the house and setting the stuff down, great. But maybe you struggle with the ghost photo, and maybe this is a way to help get you a better ghost photo, but it could hunt you sooner. So let's play it with this one as well. Now, my breaker was all the way back here, so I went to go turn it on. This door to this room was wide open. And I think I mentioned it when looking for other things about how we close doors, but also when we're looking, look for doors that are left like fully open. Those are very, very sus. So I saw that. I haven't had a chance to take the stuff up there yet. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. We are at like 90% sanity, so I mean, we're not very low. I'm just going to go ahead and take it to be safe. So my guess is the ghost is like somewhere around this area. So I'm just going to go check that and figure that out. So if that is the case, I think I might take you, and well, we can check for orbs more than likely. Let me go ahead and take my lighter before I forget that as well. Take you. Can find. This was the door that was fully open. So I don't see any orbs in here. Is this actually the ghost room, though? Yes. I think it just messed with something. I think I see my breath. I think this is going to be it. Looks that way. So let's see. Are we going to get it? Was our breath in here or was it out in the hallway? Breaker is on, right? No, it's in here. Okay. Is our... You didn't mess with this door, did you? I don't know if that's always on the ground or not. I don't think so. I think it's in there. So we can... Why does it... Is our breath out here? I don't know. Just we can double check with a... with motion sensors and other stuff. Okay, well I'm gonna guess no. Sounded like you. I don't know. I'm all tore up. Okay, so we're just gonna leave that there. That's good. So we do have UV. So like, is this your room? I don't think this hallway here can be your room. Okay, so we do have UV as our evidence. We did not see any orbs, right? Did we check this room? I don't know if we actually did check this room. So I don't see any orbs, so I think we're good to go ahead and rule out Mimic. And well, so with this, we know that we can rule out two things here as well. And that's a Hauntu and a Goryo, because Hauntu would have freezing temps as their forced evidence in one evidence, and Goryos would have dots as their forced evidence. This ghost could be a... So if it's a Phantom or a Banshee, like... Technically, we can wait up front if you wanted to just be honest. We don't need that anymore. See if it will roam to us, and if it never does, like the whole time, you could also just wait for that. So we're kind of at the point where hunts are going to kind of tell us like what we need to know when it comes to this. But I want to say, like, if we go into one of these rooms, like over here, like, that should be fine, and we're still kind of safe enough to... do whatever. I don't know if this is actually like a good hiding spot, like back here. I wouldn't think so, but I guess you kind of just never know. So what I may do is set that stuff down, go get some more. All right, so somehow, some way I saw we got our parabolic mic objective. Not quite sure how. Okay, that's kind of sus. Are you another roamer or a stalker? Is it just the same one and we're just not kidding? Did that count? 2-star ghost photo did not disappear. Okay. Yeah, all you need is 2 stars. That's it. You need 1 star. All you really need is just 1 star. It can be any star photo. That is all that you need. Okay, so we know that we can rule out a phantom because of that. I'm not really getting Banshee vibes. Right, we don't need the photo cam anymore. Could use you. I think what I may do, honestly, is just start, like, coming down here. Like, does this ghost come to us in here? Or no? I think I'm gonna go check what my sanity is at the moment and look from there. So we're getting close to hunting range. I'm gonna take this flashlight to use for a miling test since we can't do the tier 3 paramic miling test. Ghost has never turned off the breaker. That is pretty sus. It's not like hugely important. I think, I don't know, maybe getting another smudge instead of salt might be more worth it. Are we gonna hear it before our flashlight malfunctions? We never heard it, but I'm not sure if it really ever came down this way. I'll be honest though, I don't know. I feel like we would have got more whispers in the paramic if it was a miling. don't know how close we are to it, so I really don't kind of want to. Yeah, not a my lane. I didn't really activate my thing here. If the Jin comes in here, I want to... This is a good kind of room for a Jin task because it's got a decent thing. You should see the line of sight increase. Like, I'm going to try to call it in here. If we can see it. It's never roamed to us, so I don't think it's a Banshee. I'd be shocked if this thing is a Phantom or a Demon. Oh, I'd be really shocked if it was a Phantom, because we took the photo, it didn't disappear. It's too early for it to come in here. So we're about halfway through the hunt. Like, I went into the courtyard. I think we're just about there. Perfect. This is why, like, one of the most underrated tips I can give you. Time hunts. You saw we called it about 35 seconds. We did see the Jin speed up to us, so we do know that this is officially going to be a Jin. We didn't have to use a second smudge because the hunt ended as soon as, like, our smudge was over and it was walking away. Timing hunt, so important. It's like a super underrated tip that I don't see enough people utilizing that really, just like there, can save your butt so much. Because if you would have called that Jin earlier, you're just like praying it doesn't find you again. Or, you know, you can use your second smudge and then you're safe. Like, way too much to it. We do know that that was a Jin. Like I said, I'm not going to select Jin. All we have to worry about now is, did we get our sanity? Our sanity is 0, so it was low enough. We did get the 3 objectives. Again, I'm not going to select Jin because I'm still doing my Apocalypse 3 games for 50 victories. But we do know that it's a Jin. We got the 2-star ghost photo, which is all that matters. All the objectives. But this one was good because I showed you, you know, stay away from the ghost during the hunt. And then call it to you towards the end. And if you needed a picture, you could have also done it. I think the ghost event one did well, though. We were close enough to get the ghost event, get the photo. Worry about the other stuff later, and it worked out rather well. So as you see, the ghost was a Jin. We did have a 6.02 multiplier there. I have faith in you. You can do this. If you want to see some more tips that might help you out, click or tap the screen now. That's my Apocalypse Gold Trophy tips guide. A lot of those same tips can apply to this, though, so do not take it away. And in the future, we'll be doing the Silver Trophy as well and showing you my best tips on there. Thank you so much to all the channel members and all the Twitch subscribers for all the extra support. Thank you all. I truly, truly appreciate it. Happy hunting, everybody. Let's get these Apocalypse trophies.